It's time to ask a lawyer with Yasmin Young and attorney Josh Ramos of Ramos Ramos Family Law Firm.
All right, so Attorney Ramos, our first question is coming from Steve H. He says, I'm a painter who works for my brother-in-law's business. I fell from a ladder while I was painting in a client's home. My back is busted. Can I get my medical bills covered, and who would pay for them?
Steve, that's actually a pretty good question. There's about 3 different areas of law we're talking about here. One is employment law, one's labor law, potential personal injury case. I'd probably sit with you and ask you about 50 different questions. And then, when you bring up the brother-in-law, that's another factor that I'm kind of concerned with. A lot of clients come in and they're like, hey, I'm just kind of paid off the books a little bit because I'm just helping my brother out, my family member out. So the first question is, are you legally an employee? Then the next one is, what kind of home is this? Is this a 1 to 2 family residential? Who gave you the ladder? Because there might be a personal injury case here too that's pretty substantial. So all that being said, there is options to get your medical bills paid, but that if you're an employee, that's the biggest question first and foremost, so we can file a proper claim for you.
All right, so our next question is coming from the power line. Hey, who is this?
Hi, my name is Wade. I got a legal question I asked Ramos and Ramos. My question is, can you get indicted from city court, Buffalo City Court? Basically, I got a lawyer telling me that if I don't waive my felony hearing, that the district attorney office is going to indict me in city court.
Okay, so if you don't waive your felony hearing, so they want you to take a plea.
Well, that's what I'm assuming, but that's what he told me, and it just didn't sound right to me, that I should waive my felony hearing and get it sent to county court instead of going with the felony hearing and continuing in city court.
All right, hey, Wade, thanks for calling in with that one. I think you need to know what are the main purposes of the felony hearing is. It's your right to be free from incarceration. It is so important that if you're charged with a felony and you're in custody, that you have to run that felony hearing within 5 days or the courts have to release you. So it sounds like you're out because you're calling in on a power line. I don't know if they let you do that in the holding center, but hopefully you're not. But anyways, since you're out, then it looks like the prosecutors have 2 options. One is to directly indict you, which means they can dismiss the charges in city court and then indict you in front of a grand jury, or you could waive that and you can go to county court as well. So you got to understand, your attorney's probably been there doing this for years and years, and he knows once you run the felony hearing, what happens is then there's plea policies they have within the district attorney's office that really negatively impact what kind of negotiating power you have. So I remember a couple years ago, the policy was if you end up running your felony hearing, then they're going to directly indict you. They're going to charge you with everything and make you plead everything or go to trial. And it sounds like your attorney's trying to avoid that. You might want to sit down with him a little more, talk to him or her about what the case is about, what the strengths, weaknesses you have, what kind of pleas you're talking about. Waiving your felony hearing isn't a plea. It's just saying, hey, we're going to try to get it to the next step to get this to a conclusion that both you and the prosecutors can agree on. So trust your attorney. Your attorney's probably got years of experience, whether it's an assigned counsel, public defender. These guys are great. I've worked with them on many of cases. This is the reason why you have them, is because you should trust them and what they're doing.
All right, so we have a question from Tisha D that came in via WBLK.com. She says, with summer coming up, our pool usually becomes the hangout spot for neighborhood kids. I was reading an article that said if something accidentally happened to one of the kids at my pool, I could be held responsible. Is that true?
The short answer is yes. That is absolutely 100% true that you could be responsible. Your duties as a homeowner, pool owner, is you have to exercise reasonable care. So if you have, I don't know what your youngest kids are, so I got a 2 and a 5 and a 7-year-old with friends, and they bring all their friends over, and I just pop them in the pool, go inside to make something to eat, and something happens. It's pretty reasonable that I should have been looking out for them and kind of watching them. But that's what you have to do, is you have to act reasonably under the circumstances. God forbid something happens, which no one wants, but you should always be keeping an eye out for them. You should always be next to the pool, because if one of the kids drowns or becomes injured, slips and falls from running too fast on like a concrete patio, you should have been there to tell them no. You should have been there to watch them to jump in the pool. So again, the short answer is yes, you could be responsible, and let's pray that nothing happens, but just keep an eye out, and you want to watch these kids, and always make sure you're in control of the situation.
For a more in-depth consultation with Ramos and Ramos regarding personal injury, workers' compensation, or worksite accidents, call 716-810-6140 or visit them online at ramosandramos.com. You can submit your questions at WBLK.com.